So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Go Long Studios. We've got a little kind of Q&A forum, but it's with myself, Kevin Massey, and Pablo, the producer.
Right.
So we're just going to kind of go over just some trending topics that have been going on in the studio world. Some of our peers, of course, have the same challenges as us, but, we want to offer our perspective and go over a little bit of what's happening in the podcast, I guess, content agency world as we're sitting here. So I know you had some questions that you'd put together for me, and then I'd had some I've put together for you. So let's get it going, baby. At Go Long Studios.
Let's do it.
Talk to me, man.
Well, I mean, I don't even know where to go to that. I'm blank. But
question number one.
Let's see. I have these questions here for you. Let me just pop them up. So, as the studio owner, and I guess the main concept, or at least the biggest thing that we encountered, is how do you think it's helped us, or if not benefit us, with the AI tools?
From a workflow perspective, we've definitely utilized it in social media as far as just lead generation, kind of funneling through, sifting through, if you will, leveraging hashtags as prompts and triggers with bots to direct them to, say, book a tour or book a studio session, right? I know you have some tools as well that you've used, and then right now we're using one.
Right.
That's been, this is our first go at it. So we're using the Rodecaster video, and this is the first time since he has broadcast experience. We don't really need the switching assistance, but last week when he was on vacation, I had to get a kind of a crash course on it, and they had a new update. So we went in, we updated the firmware and to camera switching, and lo and behold, it works fairly well. And there's some stuff that I want you to talk about, being the subject matter expert on switching control, etc., with the addition to AI. So if you're leveraging it, working with it, using it as a tool, we run Lean and Mean here. It's a two-man team. So as far as me going out there, business development, lead generation, turning all of that into booking spaces here at the studio,
right,
and Pablo running the show when they're in the studio, it has enabled us to minimize the need for more workforce. Most importantly, as a startup, it's you have to run lean and mean and efficient, right? So that's where we operate and use it on my end, and obviously we'll be able to hear the perspective back to the Rodecaster video from you. But then, also how we've leveraged it in additional offerings. So that's kind of in a nutshell. And I'm sure this list will grow over time because new products and new use cases of AI are coming out freaking daily.
Right. I mean, there's just been an addition upon addition when it comes to just creating AI imaging, AI video, editing to just full-on AI people, the content that people make now.
That was insane. When he said that and he showed us, I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's I looked at that stuff like you're walking a fine line, right?
Yeah.
Because person is person. Representation is representation.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to embody their personality traits. It's going to be, I would say it's going to saturate the market, and essentially by the time people are adopting these tools, their use cases are almost devalued. And because of everyone using the AI, everyone's just like, it's kind of desensitized, and they're like, nah. So now what's it going to go back to? How is your marketing strategy going to, recenter itself and reevaluate? Like, right. Because now if you have an Instagram and a TikTok and a YouTube that are essentially all just fake humans,
fake content.
they're going to be marketing to each other because now people are going to be like, all right, well, I need to engage. So now I've got an AI, presence operating my social media.
Right.
So it's just going to be a circle jerk of AI talking to AI.
Yeah, and that's I mean, it's kind of pulling everybody's leg when it's like it's not necessarily becoming the fully saturated market, being that second topic that we should be going into. Is there's so many I guess you can say niche when it comes to just videography, film, or anything like that. But
authenticity. Man.
Authenticity is what most don't try to go for. It's just like, all right, let me put a voice line out there, and a picture or a video of someone else's stuff would definitely give the image away. Or just like,
amen. Yeah.
It could work that way, but with this whole AI thing, I mean, like we've said before, it makes it so plain, no character, no personality. It's straight.
In our go-to-market strategy is, I mean, we want to build that relationship. Yeah. We go for the long-term clients, not the one and dones. We want to build those relationships because it makes them efficient. It makes us efficient because we know expectations.
Right.
Our client yesterday, we knew exactly what they wanted. So now he's efficient with his time. His guest, he knew how to instruct her. Mm-hmm. You had everything already set up.
Right.
Whereas a new customer or new client, they come in and may want some subtle changes, but that's time, right?
Yeah.
And it's not their recording time. So now that butts into our setup and breakdown time. So, that's what we're wanting to go for. And that's a partnership, it's not a client, it's a partnership. So yeah, I mean, it pulls from the authenticity in that sense.
But the technology itself is definitely a benefit. I mean, a lot of work does go through AI. I mean, considering many businesses.
Yeah.
And given, like we said just a second ago, our cutting just now is AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking right here, and you can see you and this and that, but there's nobody behind that board right now. This is live,
and it's
cutting.
going to cut right back to you. I mean, it's wild. So
yeah.
And that's the thing is we are going to keep this on a broadcast cut edit or AI cut,
yes,
right?
AI
just
cut.
So we can. It's the topic of the show,
right?
And we would love to know in the comments what people's opinions are, because back to the manpower thing. You want to start a podcast, but you're the person behind, So I mean, this can enable some creators to go out and do something that may not have the capital to get a producer behind there to share their story, right?
Yeah, and it's stringing along like what this service provides. Like what can we do as a studio, not as an AI service.
Yeah,
as just like to create that show, to create that video, to create a series of videos or a training if it's a classroom that somebody wants to record.
Yes.
It's all the best thing about it is that we get to sit down, have that conversation before even filming or anything, and then once you come in here, we press record, and just like how we say, it's just kind of go from there.
Yep.
Just make a show, make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Tell your story.
Tell your story, exactly.
Let us help you tell your story. That's kind of our tagline here. And so back to that, and then going into that second question, I think that kind of corresponds with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got that one ready for me?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like how we keep reading it through, or as we going on through, the AI provides that assistance and what kind of changes it does for us, and that it's not part, or it doesn't create necessarily that oversaturated market, but we work with that oversaturated market necessarily.
Yeah.
Where it's, again, coming down to personality. What do people want to put out there as content, and how do people want to sell their business or product or whatever?
Correct.
What we are helping with them, and we are people that are, or at least we are the business that is helping small businesses make that sale or make that next client, kind of thing.
100%.
And yeah, I mean, our studio as a service, it's just not only just podcasting, it goes beyond that. I mean, as we've seen with our other clients, like Seats himself, and we have Freddie that came in for the Vibe board.
Yep.
And y'all check out Seats himself for sure for that Vibe content soon.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, we're a matter of creativity. I mean, like I said, since day one, we're creativity at its finest.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's an idea that expands from then on.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we evolved or pivoted, I would say, but more evolved, more or less, because it kind of goes back to that whole saturation point, right? Well, that saturation is there is because people are trying to offer solutions to everyone but the owner.
Yeah.
They were trying to offer solutions to a very wide array. And the reason being, because the owners they didn't have any more bandwidth available, right? So what our target was to give them their time back, not take it away.
Right.
And help check a box that they know is necessary of remaining consistent on social media, having a brand image, conveying their message. Nobody does it better than them, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have the time to do it because they look at it as a burden with the time consumption.
Right.
So now it's almost to where they feel. I mean, that's how this studio was launched, because I had to take on the burdensome role of social media, because it was becoming such a high cost and a low yield where they're just perceived value wasn't there. So, I love this stuff. And so I turned, what it was, a hobby, into something that could save the company money and remain at par with the content that we were getting, but more consistently on a daily basis, getting it out there because of the frequency availability of myself. I'm at the business, right? So I took that, we've ran with it. It started as the idea of a podcast studio, but it's evolved into a content agency. And that's really, I think, where our niche is, because we are able to, here's our pitch. It's, we can give you delivered, polished content, not eat up your time, and provide the best message coming from the best person to do that message, which is the owner or the operator, correct?
Right.
So, and do that all for under $500. And it's like, okay, so you can check my social media box. It's me delivering the message, and I can do it in under an hour for a whole month's worth of content. Right. Sign me up, right?
I mean, yeah, and it's biggest thing is like you flipped the script, right? So you kind of said you didn't want to invest, or at least not want to say invest, you didn't want to throw that money into having to pay all these individuals, all these separate individuals, and just doing this and that, and give or take if they even match, where if they're on the same page.
That was another struggle, was getting that videographer or photographer to jive with the dev team, right? They had needs, they had deadlines. He worked at his pace, he had his deadlines and all this. So to get them to work cohesively from, 10 states apart, all that, but yet it was my product that was having to be pulled at my expense to photograph. It was my time stepping away from business development to go and do this, which, I quantified as business development too.
Right.
So it just turned into a big mess, man.
Yeah. And henceforth, I mean, being that this not only brings in money for the business, brings in money for you and for the employee.
No, I mean, exactly.
But it also, again, like flipping the script, not only making us money, but increasing that monetization upon the client, the producer, it's
creating value,
right? And it's for everyone. It's not like, oh, we're just doing it just for us. Like, we're not just giving that service and like, here you go, here's the product.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that kind of just went over and covered part 3, the third question, is because, like you said, beyond podcasting, right? We're a content agency, and I think that's where we realized, because like our first 5 clients, it was B2B, right? And so we're like, well, we can help them. We have this solution that we can really help out business owners, give them their time back, So, I mean, it's pretty kind of cool. It's really cool how it evolved.
Yeah. I mean, and right, it's just like, it's I mean, for me, we don't have to work with too many people. We kind of just jive with the fact that we're sort of the middleman, right? We're creating that advertisement, that outlet for not only ours, giving the accolade for people to kind of look through these things, working with our equipment, being that we can switch for them and doing all these things.
Yeah.
But
and then we also had to overcome that we really didn't anticipate, but overcoming that objection with potential clients of already have a marketing person.
Yeah.
We had to, at first we thought it was something we'd have to dance around, but we quickly realized, I mean, one client even came in with their creative
Right.
that was kind of very resistant at first and kind of thought we were taking his role or his value, but he quickly realized, like, hey, they're here to make my life easier.
Right.
I mean, because so every one of the, I have an editor. Okay, great. Because what we're giving you is a clean product, but, short of just maybe some intro with a logo and a lower thirds, if given to us in ample time, that's all we're going to bake in,
Yeah.
So they can still, granted, we do offer that as an additional service, and we can, but it's an a la carte item, right? But then most of them already have that editor, so their expectations weren't that, And then, like, say if they work with a marketer, great, we're here to make their lives easier. Like you said, one client, she said that, they came out maybe twice a year, and it was just painstaking for her because she knew for 8 hours that day, and please pray that the weather was good that day, or all these controlling factors that could just make it all go to bust anyway.
That's true.
But it's like, hey, they're doing this for you. Yes, it's planned and all that, and on-site content is still great, and you can still do that. But let's take away half of that maybe, or give you something to plan off of, and give them something that they can work with that's moldable to further make their product further impactful too, right? So it was overcoming those objections, but kind of painting the picture of, we're here to partner with them, and we give them something to make their lives easier, and they would praise you for working with it because it did make their lives easier, and it also made their product more impactful too. So it shares and shows everyone's value in that sense.
And by making things impactful, we do put good time into the studio.
Yeah, 100%.
If we could do a moving camera right now, you could show all the knickknacks and
Patty wax.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, modular to the bone, brother. Yeah. Modular to the bone. Pablo and I also have / moving specialist in our job titles.
It's like we can basically call ourselves a set design studio. At
this point, dude, yeah.
Everything's modular from the shelves we have in the background to, as y'all can see, we have the trees. All these trees are fake. We don't need to water any of them.
Yeah, and we don't need to make you think that they are.
But we got anything you see in here. It's basically adjustable, modular, as well as Kevin said. But we can move all these lights, the things overhead.
It's great. Yeah, these shelves. The fact that we can move them and relocate them into these acoustic panels is great.
And just create that vibe.
Yeah.
And we're able to just not only that, it's fun for us because we just kind of throw things
play
around.
With it, man. And what we thought we had was 7 to 9 sets. I think Pablo's turned it into like 30 to 40.
Probably.
And so that's what's been fun, and obviously we'll get a refresher of what we want to do next, and the acoustic panels are great, but I think mixing up that wall or another wall in the other studio,
right?
It's it's going to be great, and that's what's going to challenge us to kind of keep at the paces, right?
Mm-hmm. And as soon as we even get more and more recordings in here.
Yeah.
We've already sat down and we've kind of like, hey, what should we add? Like, is there anything to add? Do we have the space to add anything?
Yep.
But hey, we've which is a video that's coming out soon, the record player that we pretty much built out, and we've got the surprisingly sell it, right? And from then on, it got a new home. But we've spoken on new ideas and kind of building things out, making content on those kind of remodeling, or if not moving, whatever the type might be. But
well, and then a quick point to that of the content, right? Thankfully, we were able to come in today and just and get going, you know, because that's one thing that can fall to the wayside very easily is, you know, once that session's done, you've got a deliverable to get, you know, produce. As a studio owner to other studio owners and a producer to other producers, we're going to tell you, always make time for your own content, you know, and that's one thing, because if you don't, you're going to get burned out, one. But two, you stop losing objects of advice to give your clients, right? But then also, it's your best advertising. You know, if your channel is filled with just clients or whatnot, but if they want to see what you can produce, because they know when it's going to be you're going to put your best foot forward, right? So it's a great opportunity to advertise for your studio as well. So staying relevant and on top of content, in which, you know, we plead the fifth on that as well once or twice, but you know, it's fun to keep doing it, and it keeps you sharp as well. I think, you know, number 4 can be skipped over. That's something that, you know, is currently in the works. But
blending,
I've
been blending all the topics.
They've kind of melded into each other.
Yeah.
But, you know, number 5, I think we can talk to that at a different point.
Business of podcast retainers versus a la carte.
I think
that's where I was like encompassing everything.
The one-offs, yeah. I mean, I would look at it, you know, you can look at it twofold, right? Where I think everyone starts out as a la carte.
Yeah.
You know, until you can get that follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Until you get that second one, because, you know, everybody comes in and is either, you know, I'm starting a podcast, or it's time to upgrade my quality, or I've gone audio to now I want to do video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they see what that sticker cost is to start that video.
The individuality from YouTube to Spotify.
Right. But I mean, like, from Spotify to YouTube, you know, so going from there is like, it's a big jump, dude, you know? But the ones that started with video, you're already knocking out 2 stones, right? Because you can, you know, very easily, like our client yesterday was talking about, I've been doing the, you know, posting to the Spotify, to the Apple, and all this, the audio. And then, you know, once they see the impact of, you know, YouTube, how that works, in addition to kind of the cost that's associated with building a set that's designed well, that isn't, you know, you can't do it for cheap. You just can't. With all the damn AI tools in the world, you're still going to spend a grip, you know?
Right.
You melded in the creative set design. You're like, I'm going to make this into one question. But no, flow. That's right there. That's that experience right there, my brother.
Yeah. Once you gave me a rundown, I was like, okay,
exactly. Well, it's, you know, I didn't plan on threading, but I'll try to on your segment. But, you know, the podcast to YouTube strategy, we covered that. But the trends in short form content creation from long form. I look at it like this. You know, we're not going to give you our secret sauce, but we will say, you know, we do have a software that helps chop up. But there's still human requirements for that too, right?
Right. You start to go in there and take those little bit stuff and change from cameras and words and fonts and whatnot. I mean,
brother, because you and me both, since we do it, we're now very, very critical of when you see them and there's like 5 misspelled words. You're like, dude, if you're trying to promote yourself, I mean, you know, I'm looking at you like you're the guy that don't make his bed, because you just posted it and it wasn't misspelled words. So take the time, people. If you guys are using any of these auto-gen softwares that chop it up, your long form into short form, you know, Pablo can give you some advice. I can give you some advice, but spelling, like that's like rule one.
Yeah.
Go through all of it, because your clients are not going to be upset if you ask for the spelling of a word, because they're going to know that this person is paying attention to what my deliverable is. Because you know what? Nothing's going to piss me off more as a client where you give me something and it's misspelled and you didn't ask me, you know? Yep. And so that also in turn shows them that we give enough of a shit to put our best foot forward to save me a time of revisions and all that.
And even then, building that confidence, where it's like, if we did send the client something and let's say for whatever reason we'd like, oh yeah, we revised it, this and that, next thing you know, we catch it on our end, like, oh crap, we missed this, and then we tell them, hey, this has to be changed real quick. So they find that confidence, or at least build that confidence.
Correct.
Like, oh wait, they're reviewing it more and more than I am, because in some cases, any other client, any other occasion, just when just a conversation on the street is just like, people don't want to sit there and read through, or at least go through the captions, go through this, go through that.
It's time consuming.
It's like they just want to be a viewer at that point, right?
Correct. They want a viewer. They're excited. They're like, it's the shiny new toy. They paid for it. They want it. And then like, oh man, I forgot to check this. So in that respect, I mean, that goes back to our white glove service, if you will, of we're going to give you the stuff ready to go, because we said we were going to consume an hour of your time, not an hour and then plus all this, right? You know, let us do it all.
The biggest thing of it is, you know, they get to come in 30 minutes, an hour, have that conversation, have that recording time, whether it's shorts, long form.
Yeah.
Anything, or like, you know, on location, if it realty, that's the biggest one right now.
Amen. Yeah.
And being that we can go out to the house and just chill with these people and basically do the same thing here and over there,
and thread it all together.
Thread
it all in into one nice sweater, baby.
Exactly. And it's a consistency of just content. Everything can be shared, plugged together. I mean, we can have a filming this week and then another session next week, or if not a month from now, and I still probably use the video from this week.
Correct.
So
yeah,
it's kind of coming back to it.
Yeah, and that's what's great is, I mean, you know, helping your clients come into your studio prepared is going to be a value add that they don't perceive until that third one, or maybe, and especially if they're bringing in guests, you know, when that guest walks in and notices everything is set, that guest knows that this person values my time, because they're prepared. They've asked all the questions that are pertinent for me to make me feel comfortable to get the best out of me.
Right.
So, you know, helping them in that first process and the assumption of this will be successful because, you know, we're working together and setting the expectation, you know what you're going to get out of us, but, you know, here's our expectation of what we expect from you,
right,
as the client. Because, you know, if they show up unprepared and they don't know what they're talking about, then, you know, it's disrespectful to our time, right? You don't want to tell them that, but no, in a sense of, I think that there's, you know, if you guys as owners or engineers and workflow of, you know, we always touch base and make sure that they've been able to do the Matterport walkthrough to select the studio, but we've also prepared a file of just screenshots of our recordings and shown them of all the different possibilities, because through a Matterport walkthrough, there's got to be no obstructions. And you know, if you saw the other side of this room where we were, I mean, it's not cluttered, but it's equipment. And so, not sexy on the eyes in a Matterport, but they can see from a BTS perspective of, you know, okay, there's the lights up there, there's the cameras over here. Okay, that's why, and it makes sense why they have it set up this way, or even, you know, I like that setup or this setup. So sharing with your clients, again, you know, some sets in addition to what they've already seen being utilized, so they can make that selection. You know, letting them know, hey, you're going to get more out of me if you're sharing with me the names of your guests, first, last, and then their social handles or business logos for beginning in, because this is stuff that, if given in time, we can bake it in before production and makes your life easier. You don't have to do as much in post.
Right.
And they get more bang for their buck.
Right. And it's the whole process is just, it's an adventure on its own. I mean, from day in to day out in that recording day.
Yeah.
I mean, from what it really is for us is we come in here, we set up a set design. So we're set designers.
Yep. Yeah. Set designers.
We kind of set up all the computers and make sure all the software is ready to go. So there's my engineering part.
Yep.
We get all the cameras and all the lighting up.
Yeah.
Our videographers.
Yeah. Lighting specialists.
And then we come in here.
Knowing the Kelvins for Kevin.
Sure. And then we sit down the guests. We have that conversation. We make them comfortable. They get to get that recording in. By the time they know it, they're done. They're getting up. Everything's driven into Drive.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all the raw product, all the audio recordings, and they're like, "Oh, what do we need now?" Nothing. Give us your email and your phone number. It's like, all right, we'll tell you when it's on the drive. It's a 24 to 48 hour time period.
Which is ample. And I mean, those expectations, we've done that 24 to 48 hour buffer. And I think, we can far exceed it, but that does set that expectation. So, it's all about setting expectations. I always tell people that I do business with, like, man, if you would have told me it would have taken 3 months, I would have been cool with it. But when you tell me it takes a month and now we're sitting at 2 months,
right?
I'm like, man, what happened here?
Right.
And now I'm the jerk because I'm upset. But it's like, if you would have told me 3 months, that would have been my expectation.
Right.
Under promise, over deliver. That's always been my motto. Instead of over promise, under deliver. That's just going to set you up from failure, and believe it or not, when you're honest and, you're afraid to disappoint, but if you are honest, I think, there's more forgiveness out there, but you've also built yourself that buffer to under promise, over deliver,
Right.
So it's a fun, I couldn't imagine, those studio owners that are doing a lot of this single-handedly. But I'd love to hear, where you, I guess, sacrifice to overcompensate, right?
Right.
Say if it was just you doing it here and you were thinking, and you're like, oh my gosh, like business development, like taking, the conversations, following up with the phone calls because we can't answer the phone when the camera's going, so that's one thing to be mindful of, but, it's difficult. And then say an owner that they couldn't go out and biz dev because they're behind the scenes or vice versa. So I think, the I guess sacrifice that I made in order to bring you on, fully well knowing that, there wouldn't be money coming in for quite a substantial period of time, but it was necessary, though, to get you settled in, to get you understanding of the workflows and the processes and the equipment and all that. It was necessary. So, it's kind of like I set that expectation to myself of knowing I'm going to be, not covering the payroll, but generating payroll weekly without that revenue. And so I under promised and over delivered to myself because I set an expectation of like a quarter, right? Okay, 3 months, that's 90 days, and that's this amount. Thankfully we were able to go and get business sooner than that.
Right.
So I myself wasn't disappointed. It was a high five to myself, because I had set that expectation. So be honest with yourselves, but also be conservative is what I'm telling to these owners that, if you're bringing people on, it's not the the staff's fault that the business isn't there. It's you brought them in to get them settled and efficient before the business was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's necessary, and it's setting the staff member up for success. You know, because if you're wanting to be a business owner and you think if day one you sign a lease that money's going to come in, you a damn fool. You know, I mean, we had build out that you got to be part of, and I mean, from a workflow perspective, you know, me designing the space, but then you understanding challenges or limitations, if you will, to provide that perspective from a workflow that something you would be doing day to day was beneficial. You know,
I guess that's never really been the question in my mind, but it has. I guess.
Well, no, I mean, I laid it out there, you know, where I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, I want you to start sooner before you you came to see this place and it was white walls, and you were like, what the fuck? And I explained my vision, and you were like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Creativity at its finest. And so, you know, that blank slate was fun to have you involved, because, I mean, that builds the team. Right. That also builds that camaraderie of you know, equity in the business. I mean, of you know, part of the foundation brick.
Yeah. It always came down to just like, I didn't know where it was gonna go, but it also is a question of like, did you feel like, I guess, lucky or fortunate that I was capable, I guess, keeping up, or I don't know, because, you know, some people do come down to the unfortunate part of having that person that's like, oh yeah, they have it, and then they're not even showing up half the week, or you know, they ghosted me, or I don't know what the situation.
Well, that's always a roll of the dice, right? I mean, if you haven't worked with people, you do kind of have to put yourself out there to an instance of vulnerability, but I mean, it's reciprocal, right? Because when you had a job at the time, and you know, you weren't just sitting on the couch waiting for someone to call. You had a position, and you took a chance too. So I mean, that's where I kind of think it is mutual, right? So we're both having skin in the game, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's also important, you know. I mean, someone can be talented and not cohesive. Someone can be cohesive and not talented. So it's a lot of moving parts that need to align or should align, but there's also pivoting and you know, understanding flexibilities, right? You know, and understanding our capacity. I mean, I think we figured it out. Like, the most we can get in is like 6 sessions a day of 1 hour sessions, right? In an 8 hour work day, because there's those buffers of before and after, et cetera. So,
fixing things, modulating,
moving. Yeah. God forbid we have someone in another setup, like, you know, back and forth 3 times in a day, dude. I'd hide from you. You'd want to throw one of those chairs at me. Oh man. But that's where my sales skill comes in. No, you want Studio B. The acoustics are so much more fun, which they are, though.
But it's so good that, you know, we do have this opportunity where not only we get to work with each other, and we have worked with each other on different situations, not just filming and sitting here behind a camera or whatever it might be, but it's not only the hassle that we've dealt with, I guess, in the small period in time that we've worked with each other. Yeah. But we've overcome other hassles with clients and and just, you know, where we have to be at what times and these things, and just organizing, you know. It's all a matter of what we have to do to get things flowing.
Exactly.
So
no, it is. And so that being said, we're gonna put session 2 on ice because our client's here and he's ready to go. So you know, we're excited to see what this content looks like, how that auto switcher worked, and then next session's gonna getting, you know, from your perspective and kind of discussing kind of the topics that your peers are faced with right now. So looking forward to it, brother.
Let's do it.
All right.